Did you know this was the kind of thing taking place all the time off the coast of New Jersey? You are watching two F-16 jets refueling from a KC-135 tanker, and there's a good chance they are airborne right now as you watch this report. Did you know that readiness drills like this one take place daily? Fighter pilots scrambling, practicing so that when the phone rings, they'll be ready. The last time the phone rang, this was the reason. February 13th of this year, a Soviet Bear bomber 200 miles off the coast of New Jersey. Two United States F-16s gently nudged the huge long-range Soviet bomber away from our coastline and into international airspace. 6 months ago, we witnessed the Berlin Wall coming down. 6 weeks ago, we watched a simulated dogfight over the Atlantic from the cockpit of an F-16. If relations with the Soviets have warmed up, somebody forgot to tell these guys. The aircraft is the F-16, the most nimble fighter in our arsenal and arguably the best fighter bomber in the world. It is made to go twice the speed of sound. It can drop a bomb on a 2-foot-wide target from a mile away with pinpoint accuracy. 20 of them are kept here in Pomona, New Jersey, outside Atlantic City, at the 177th Tactical Intercept Group, New Jersey Air National Guard. They are in the air virtually around the clock, part of an Air National Guard network of 1,339 bases in all 50 states. In our area alone, there are 6 bases in New York, 3 in New Jersey, and 1 in Connecticut. This wing of the operation protects the coastline from Long Island to Virginia. And for a reporter to get a better look at this, that meant going up.
It's a rush. And there is nothing that I would rather do than what I'm doing here and now at this point in my life.
My pilot, Lt Col Lynn Robinson. He's been at this over 20 years, thousands of hours at the stick of fighter jets. Our wingman, flying the jet that would be just a few feet off our wing at all times, pilot Bill Yanero, whose likeness to a certain Hollywood pilot is merely incidental. There are the invariable comparisons to the kind of fighter pilots that Hollywood has shown us, and invariably those comparisons come true. It is all for good reason. Walking to your waiting jet, you wouldn't want your life in any other hands, especially when your turn comes up and the canopy comes down.
We got Robinson and Brian Williams from CBS up in New York. We're flying 1049.
With takeoff now minutes away, takeoff to 1,000 feet in 10 seconds, there was no way to anticipate the forces that would leave me unable to move as soon as we became airborne. And tomorrow night at 11, what it felt like to be strapped into that jet. We'll take you along on a 2-hour flight over the Atlantic and show you what it looked like from inside the F-16. You'll also hear what it's like when subjected to 6 times the force of gravity. That's join us tomorrow night at 11.
So don't tease us. What was it like?
It was incomparable. To not be able to move, to not know if you're upside down or right side up. There's nothing to compare it to.
Did you lose it?
No, I didn't lose it, so to speak.
A month, 2 weeks a year, adds up to one of the most rewarding part-time jobs you can get. The Air National Guard. Americans at their best.
Hollywood gave us a bird's-eye view of the ultra-fast life in the danger zone, flying F-16 fighter jets.
Well, in his special series, Channel 2's Brian Williams gives us quite a view himself, flying with the real-life Top Guns.
This is not Hollywood, but very much for real. 25,000 feet up and a few miles off the New Jersey shore. And here on the ground in Pomona, the pilots at New Jersey's Air National Guard are practicing for this, the interception in February of a Soviet bomber that got too close to the coastline. Talking to the men who fly these F-16s, you wouldn't know it's peacetime.
You get used to it after a while. This is my 5th intercept on the Russians.
Getting a good look at what goes on here means going up. That means hours of training, a rigorous physical, getting fitted, getting briefed, and hours of egress training, a polite term for how to eject from a jet at twice the speed of sound. A survival suit and a flight suit designed to help the body cope with the physical pain of the flight when your blood wants to leave your brain and your body weight soars to 1,000 pounds. My pilot, Lt Col Lynn Robinson. Our wingman, pilot Bill Yanero. There's a handshake from my pilot, the canopy comes down, we taxi out and go.
Okay, here we go. Brake release, power, afterburner. We'll fill 5 stages light. There's 3, 4, 5. There's acceleration.
We We reach 1,000 feet in 10 seconds. Inside, it is briefly frightening, then exhilarating. It is hot and amazingly quiet. Our first maneuvers would be the toughest, so-called G-tests, to see how many times the force of gravity the body can take. With Yanero's F-16 just a few feet away from ours throughout, Robinson throws us into a hard turn. And as you'll hear, the pain and discomfort are such that your body, unable to move at all against the tremendous force, gives off an uncontrollable grunt.
Right, ready, execute. Start pushing. Okay, there's 4. There's 5.
In a plane that can pull 9 Gs, we have pulled 6, and it's now on to refuel. Then, tanks full, we break away for the next maneuver. It is a dogfight. When portrayed on the big screen, this meant Tom Cruise versus the Soviet MiGs.
Here comes the shot.
For us, our wingman broke away, then became our target. We got him, and to be fair, he later got us. Having killed each other in mock aerial combat, it was time for some fun. Acrobatics, barrel rolls, roller coaster loops. At times, you actually have to check to see if you're flying upside down or right side up. Elapsed time, just under 2 hours. By the time you're down, you could do it again, though maybe not every day.
What a trip.
You experience things that occurred for the first time, and it's the last time they're ever going to happen. And so I think it's a special moment in your life.
An amazing experience, but one that begs the question, what's it all for? Well, tomorrow night at 11, the money and the man-hours to keep the jets aloft. Critics say these pilots are merely playing expensive war games with taxpayer money, but for their part, the fighter jockeys point to the Soviet bombers they've turned away from our shore and say their role is vital. That's tomorrow night at 11.
I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I will obey the orders of the President of the United States and the officers appointed over me. So help me God.
The Air National Guard, Americans at their best.
We've been taking you for quite a ride through the wild blue yonder with the real-life Top Gun pilots. Tonight, Brian Williams is back on the ground and has a look at what it takes to keep those F-16 fighters aloft.
In 5 weeks, there will be one Germany, and in 8 days, Gorbachev arrives in Washington to talk arms cuts with the president. So what are we doing cruising around in F-16 fighters off the coast of New Jersey? Where's the threat? The mission of the jet jockeys who fly out of the 177th Fighter Interceptor Group is to protect the U.S. coastline from invasion. They are a cocky, hard-charging lot, these fighter pilots, just like in the movies. We did fly with them, and they're good at it. They are skilled pilots who rightfully bristle at charges they're weekend warriors. They point to constant training, around-the-clock flights, and the knowledge they've got to be there and ready when the phone rings. Some are part-time, some are not. Many, like pilot Bill Yanero, fly for commercial airlines when they're not doing this.
Every mission, you have to go out there and try and do better than the one you flew before. Look for your mistakes. That's the only way you'd win in a war, is being better than the other guy.
As a piece of the massive $309 billion Pentagon pie, the entire Air National Guard system, even with its 1,339 bases nationwide, eats up but 1% of the budget. That's $3.5 billion, and that's a tiny slice. Except if you're a member of Congress looking for ways to save money with peace breaking out all over. U.S. fighters have recently been put into action in Panama and the Philippines. The war stories these guys tell from peacetime could leave you asking, what would we do if they weren't there?
The debate is as big as the budget, but there's this to consider. As the Pentagon cuts back, they'll do so with regular forces, and it's likely the more affordable Air National Guard will pick up the slack. Ernie, Michelle.
Thanks, Brian.
Almost 80 years, we've guarded the land below from the skies above. Join the proud tradition. Join the Air National Guard. Americans at their best.